Hi, this is Scott Butterworth standing in for reviewer Peter Brown. If you've ever stepped into Samus Aran's boots for a Metroid adventure, you'll instantly recognize parallels in Headlander's world structure, outfits, and animations. On the other hand, years of experience with Samus can't prepare you for Headlander's lead character, a head in a rocket-powered jar. Without a body to call home, you have to decapitate robots and steal their bodies to fight back. This is but one of many refreshing concepts on display, not least of which is a stylized 70s sci-fi aesthetic that's immediately appealing. This side-scrolling adventure takes place in a world populated by hedonist robots, who at any given moment are tripping out, trying to get laid, or dancing. Just another day in the Pleasure Dome. You're guided through this odd world by a man named Earl, a voice on the other side of your communication equipment, who's trying to help you escape the clutches of Methuselah, the lead AI. Earl's southern drawl and lackadaisical personality are a breath of fresh air, portraying a level-headed and helpful gentleman in a sea of far-out characters. When Earl first jars you from your deep sleep, you awake in a state of shock. Without a body, you can't speak or fire back at gun-toting robots. As you venture through the Pleasure Dome and into the belly of Methuselah's fortress, you take over robot bodies to gain access to weapons and security doors. Robot bodies are color-coded to security levels, and lasers can be used to open doors if you can't walk up to them with a body intact. This becomes necessary for one very important reason: you can't jump. It's a weird omission at first blush, but once you get used to flying your head around in low gravity, a satisfying experience on its own, you quickly forget why you cared about the lack of jumping in the first place. Your head has unlimited propulsion and vacuum power, and it's graceful in flight, carrying momentum and turning on a dime if it needs to. Every victim you possess has its own life bar, but the one associated with your helmet is the one that really matters. Thankfully, it replenishes automatically over a short period of time. Even if you manage to die, Headlander is extremely forgiving, allowing you, in most cases, to respawn in the same room. The only exceptions are multi-stage boss fights and objectives, where you're forced to restart from the beginning of your task upon death. This is really only troublesome during the game's 2 boss fights, where death comes at the drop of a hat should you fly erratically or wander into a projectile.
No! We are the best that ever!
On your way to Methuselah's doorstep, you're sent on a lot of fetch quests, but it isn't as bad as it sounds. Paths contain battle sequences and puzzles that require you to deftly swap bodies and survive stretches of hazardous corridors to arrive at your destination with a specific type of robot. While the shooting could be better, its twitchy nature isn't damning. Frustration is inevitable when you're carefully aiming shots and enemies keep respawning and firing at you, but these occasions rarely require more than 2 or 3 attempts to overcome.
That last attempt really blew me away. Stand down! Once in a... Watch out! You're coming with me.
When you aren't dead set on accomplishing a mission, you can veer to the corners of maps and hunt for upgrades or for large doses of energy, which you can invest in the abilities that manifest when you inhabit a body. The biggest upgrade your head gets is a powerful dash, but there are numerous powerful upgrades that activate when you pilot bodies, including a rainbow-colored armor aura and the ability to abandon bodies that continuously fire their weapons, essentially turning them into turrets. It takes the entire game to gain enough energy to unlock every upgrade, but it seems like incremental upgrades for your helmet lie in wait around every other corner. The 10 or so hours it takes to beat Headlander are packed with glimmering visual effects and great tunes that range from lighthearted lounge music to overbearing synth tracks. It's a weird and infectious world that feels like the perfect playground for Headlander's quirky and engaging action. There's rarely a bump in the road that proves significant enough to disrupt the joys of flying around as a head, decapitating robots, and taking over bodies against the game's absurd and colorful backdrop. While Headlander's parallels to Metroid bubble under the surface, it's the game's fresh qualities that grab your attention and make it one of the most delightful takes on the well-worn formula in years.